Welcome back. We're aboard the TS Golden Bear, California Maritime Academy's training ship, where students pursuing careers in the maritime industry get real-world experience, often around the world.
We've been to sea for about 6 weeks so far, and we got another 2 or 3 weeks to go. And we've been to Honolulu, Hawaii, Lahaina, Maui, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. We'll be going up to Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, and then back into San Francisco.
We go through 5 different rotations, so for 3 rotations I'm in a classroom and I learn practical things like knot tying or crane operation. And then for a couple of the other classes we learn navigation, radar plotting. And then for the other 2 rotations we're on watch and day work, so shipping paint and maintaining the ship basically.
I don't think you could put an actual value on it because it's different for everyone, but it's definitely huge because there's not a lot of campuses or schools that you can go to where you can come out with almost a guaranteed 6-figure income. And the experiences you get and the people you meet are amazing.
Now let's check out the next generation of security at the Port of Long Beach.
The Port of Long Beach is the nation's 2nd busiest seaport. It supports 1.4 million jobs in the U.S. and handles $155 billion worth of cargo each year. In short, it's an economic powerhouse and a top priority to protect.
Today, we're at the Joint Command and Control Center to meet with Randy Parsons, Director of Security for the Port of Long Beach, to see how continued investments in training and technology have strengthened port security since 9/11, above and below the water.
So what makes the Port of Long Beach such a unique challenge to protect?
I think 2 things. One is the volume of activity that goes on here in the port. 6 million containers a year, over 80 berths for the large ships to dock, rail, trucking, tourist industry here in Long Beach. All of those things go together to create a volume and a diversity of volume that make it quite a challenge to secure.
And now, does technology allow you to see below the water, or do you use manpower, or both?
On the water, of course, the boats, but we also have sonar capability for underwater. We have remote operating vehicles, another underwater asset. There are several different partner agencies here in the port that have dive teams. Above the water, we have the helicopters. It's a combination of human resources and technological resources.
The port handles about 16,000 20-foot equivalent containers every day, and in any given year, about 5,000 vessels from around the world carrying everything from cars to frozen food products come in and out of the Port of Long Beach. Tracking all of this traffic is a non-stop effort, and new technology is providing a real-time window into daily activity throughout the port complex.
Randy, what does all the technology in this room allow you to do?
This board is a good example of the capabilities that we have here. The Port of Long Beach has over 300 cameras that can give, as you can see, various shots of the port. We have cameras that are very high resolution cameras, long range cameras, infrared cameras for night vision.
What information are we getting from this screen in particular?
Each avatar that you see, you'll see yellow circles and you see some blue and you see green. Everything has a meaning. Can be a vessel that's coming in or out of the port, a ship full of container, oil, consumer goods. In any areas of interest, we can focus in on this panel with any one of those over 300 cameras to get a specific view of an area of interest for us.
Gotcha. How close can you get in?
The detail is remarkable. We would be able to read a license plate on a vehicle.
I have noticed that there's multiple people from different agencies, under one roof. How does that all come together? How does that work in your benefit?
This Joint Command and Control Center here serves the entire San Pedro Bay Port Complex, not just the Port of Long Beach. So there are probably upwards of 20 different public safety agencies. All of those assets have a need to know what the awareness is of the port. And the other thing the control center does is give us a level of awareness of where those emergency responders are.
The port has received $120 million in grants since 2011, proof that keeping it safe is a national concern.
Well, I think everyone knows what a driver the Port of Long Beach is for the nation. All the agencies, all the personnel on the land, water, we can't do it without the public's help. And you'd be surprised at how often we get calls from the public saying this just looks a little odd. That is one of our strongest assets, is the see something, say something campaign.
Randy, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate the tour. It's been great.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you can see, protecting the Port of Long Beach is a huge task. And with new technology and coordinated efforts between all agencies, the port has never been safer. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks, Adrian. Training exercises are an important part of first responder preparedness, and they're also an important part of life on a working vessel.
Recently, within the last few years, we have added a simulator, a full mission bridge simulator to the ship, so we can get more watch time, so the seniors come up and realize or understand what it's like to work on a ship. And it's pretty great. You walk in there and there's monitors right in front of you. You have a full steering console and multi-function displays with radar and ECDIS and AIS. So it provides an amazing learning experience, without actually having to put yourself on a huge ship and actually running it. There's about 32 different vessels that they can actually provide for you. Each one has a different handling characteristic. So, we don't know where we're gonna be in the industry. So, try and get us prepared for everything that we can.
You just can't get video games like this at Best Buy. But before we continue our tour aboard the TS Golden Bear, let's switch from the sea to rail transportation aboard a train tour of the port. The opportunity only comes around once in a while, and as usual, the community jumped on board. Nearly 2,500 people kicked off the month of June by coming out to the Port of Long Beach for 2 days of free educational train tours.
Every year, about $150 billion worth of goods moves to the Port of Long Beach.
I think it's important to educate the community and the citizens of that community. To give us a free tour is very important, actually.
If you go to the Queen Mary, let's say, and look over at the port, I don't think you can look and know what's going on until you actually are able to be in here and see the machines operating and what the people are doing on the ground, really.
People come out with a much better understanding of the port's vitality, the importance to the economy, the number of jobs that are supported by the port. All those things, I think, are really important in terms of education.
Port partners brought it all together as Metrolink's double-decker rail cars and Pacific Harbor Line brought area residents up close to port container terminal operations and some of the $4.5 billion worth of construction projects that are creating the port of the future.
The port's changing a lot, and so for those folks who maybe you've seen the port before, we say come down again because it's going to be different.
It's been really cool to see how many cargoes there are and how many things they do.
We've lived in the community forever, and I never really get a chance to see the history of it. I think it's fabulous that they've done this.
The improvements that the environmental has made are really impressive. We see from where we live, we sit up on Signal Hill, we can see the cranes moving and stuff like that. So being down here to actually see what's going on is pretty entertaining.
Dates for the next train tours haven't been set, but if you'd like to keep an eye on the next opportunity or jump on a free harbor boat tour, visit polb.com/port tours.